Hello YouTube! Scott here with another instant review of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Episode 5. The first thing I noticed, well, kind of the last thing, since it was the length of the episode that it took me to realize it, but there was a lot of repetition. There are plenty of emotional moments, which is kind of par for the course, because this is the MCU. But weirdly, there was almost an overuse of slow motion. I think there were at least 3 different scenes that involved it, and 2 different montages. I mean, one is usually enough for anything, but there was a montage of Bucky showing up in New Orleans to help Sam fix his family's boat, and then another one where, well, I'll get to that in a minute. There was some serious stuff when Sam wanted to give Isaiah Bradley the shield, but he had to explain how basically the government had erased his entire life and thrown him in jail. And there's this line about how basically people expect Captain America to be a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white man, and given the fact that they went from Steve Rogers to John Walker, not entirely wrong. This thing was so socially relevant, let's say. And then, of course, there were the Flag Smashers, who had their own emotional moment when the GRC started clearing out refugee camps. So they've decided to make a move on the GRC, and that was basically at the end of the episode. So that was something. Right after John Walker, who I'm no longer calling Captain America for reasons I'll get into in a minute, right after he killed that guy with a shield, obviously he ran, but he was hunted down by Sam and Bucky, and there was a massive 3-way battle that broke out. Basically, Sam and Bucky wanted to take the shield, and Walker was not having it. And they wound up having to break his arm to get the shield away from him because, he was on the serum. There was this bit right before they broke his arm where they had him pinned, like with his arm out, trying to get the shield off. It was really reminiscent of that scene in Infinity War where all the heroes gang up to get the gauntlet off Thanos' hand. I don't know if that was especially a callback, but it reminded me of it. Walker wound up being stripped of his title and his rank, and not dishonorably discharged, but I believe they called it a not-so-honorable discharge. I don't know if those are the same thing. But yeah, that's why I'm not going to call him Captain America anymore, because he ain't captain of anything, except in his own mind. And he's apparently been recruited by Julia Louis-Dreyfus, of all people. There's some speculation that she's like Madame Hydra. I don't know if that's the case, but she gave him a business card to contact her on, and it's blank. So, maybe. The government decided to intervene, with the GRC, so Sam and Bucky were sidelined, which gave Sam time to go home and fix up his family's boat after calling in favors to, everybody in town. And then Bucky showed up to help, flirted with his sister a little bit, which Sam wasn't happy about. And this, of course, was after Bucky had a final confrontation with Zemo at the Sokovia Memorial. And that was actually really well done, because Bucky made it look like he was going to kill him, sticking a gun right in his face and everything. But then he pulled the trigger and it just clicked. And Bucky drops the bullets with his other hand, and then the Dora Milaje show up, who he'd contacted. And they take Zemo to Wakanda, so he's out of the story. Bucky called in one last favor of Io. I don't know what it is. It's something in a suitcase that Bucky gave to Sam. The last shot of the episode is him opening it and seeing it. And I don't know if it's a new pair of wings because Walker tore them off of him during the fight, or some kind of improvised Captain America suit. I don't know. But it should be noted, Sam's got the shield. The second training montage was him basically getting into peak physical condition and learning to throw it around without getting himself hurt. Basically, it's what should have happened the entire time. And on an interesting note, Bucky mentioned something about when Steve talked to him about giving Sam the shield, he didn't think it should have gone to a black man. That was mind-blowing to me. I mean, he's been a brainwashed assassin, but he seemed tolerant. Let's see, what else? So not only are the Flag Smashers moving in on the GRC, but Sharon Carter popped up in one scene to apparently break the guy that Falcon put away in the first episode out of jail. And after that, you cannot tell me she's not the power broker. If anybody else shows up claiming to be the power broker at this point, I'm going to say they're lying. And I'm going to say Sharon has been behind it the whole time. But yeah, one more thing, the end credits episode. Oh my gosh, I cannot talk today. The mid-credits scene. Because, John Walker's gone off the deep end, and apparently he has some skill in metalworking. Because he decided to make his own shield. It's obviously not vibranium, it's basic metal. You see him putting it together. He takes his Medal of Honor, which you would think would have been taken from him, but whatever, and is going to attach it to the shield. So I guess we got John Walker, the rise of U.S. agent. So this is the second to last episode because they're coming up to the end, and I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, we can assume they'll probably kill off all the super soldiers. That would be the majority of the Flag Smasher leaders. Because, their message, let's face it, it was too appealing at first, which is why they're resorting to terrorist tactics. Because the French dude that Sharon busted out of jail showed up with a bunch of weapons for them. So, they'll probably end up dead. Wouldn't be surprised if Bucky loses his arm again. Who knows what's going to happen to John Walker, or if we're going to end up having U.S. agent running around. But I'm looking forward to it. And just another week to go. And see you guys next time.